Okay, Khan. So shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're gonna give Kol Halo Yahweh Bahashim
Hamash.
Hamashiach Yahweh Shah for giving us the spirit and power to do this lesson. Uh, we, we back with another lesson going over I am the way teachings, dealing with just Yahweh Shah Hamashiach and what he instructed us to do. These lessons is to help you, further your journey on following Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. Why? Because Yahweh Shah said in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So we have to go through Yahweh Shah, meaning we have to follow his examples. We have to follow his footsteps. So it's very critical that we read the Gospels each and every day, man. Each and every day, man. Even if it's just one chapter or two, depending on where your spirit at, it's very critical that we study on Yahweh Shah HaMashiach the best way. Right, so bring that out right quick.
This is John chapter 14, verse 6. Yahweh Shah saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
You see that? Ain't no way other way you get into the Father except through Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So why not study the Gospels each and every day? Why not read what he instructed us to do each and every day? This is not no game. The scriptures already said he was an austere man, so that means he's not playing with us. And Yahweh Shah is watching us, and he's getting reports back from the angels, and these angels is reporting like, he's following you or he's not following you. The choice is yours. And sometimes, man, when we reading his teaching, sometimes it ain't easy, bro. It's just not easy, dealing with however you was coming from the world, where he told, because I was reading today in Luke where he says, pray for them that despise you and hate you. And you're supposed to pray and, have mercy on those kind of people. And it's kind of hard to do that when somebody's clearly getting over on you and they clearly got something against you and it's for no reason. Right. But this is our example. And this is the way we're supposed to follow Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Right. So he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So what we're going to touch on today is Matthew 5:17 through 20. Matthew 5:17 through 20. It isn't that deep, but we're going to touch on it just in case somebody new watches it. Or we like to have the understanding that repetition is always good, man. That's why in almost every book, the Most High God, Yahweh, says, I am the Lord thy God, which had brought thee out of the land of Egypt. He's always reiterated that. He always was repetitive with that. Right? He want us to understand. He wanted to melt it in our mind. So we want to do the same thing with these lessons, these teachings, because sometimes you'll read something else and you'll forget that Yahweh Shah said this and that. All right, but let's get into it, man.
Okay, this
Matthew
is
5:17.
This is Matthew 5:17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Man, that is very powerful, especially verse 20. He says we got to be better than the Pharisees. We have to be better than men that was doctors at the law. He commanded us to be better than them. So how must we be better than the scribes and the Pharisees? How? But now we're going to recap and we're going to break it down verse by verse. So let's deal with 17. Read 17 one more time.
Verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
So that's very important. It's very critical. And a lot of people, Christianity, most importantly, don't want to deal with this verse right here. Right. But he's very clear on it. And a lot of us, we know this already. Yeah, we do know this already. But this lesson is to help get, scriptures for you or, so you can get your spirit. Because I might make a point that you'd be like, oh, that's a good point. I'm going to use that. whatever helps. You know, that's why I always say, Lord willing, this lesson was edified, even if it's just a little bit, because it might be a point that you can use that nobody can, gainsay, or they can't say nothing against.
Right.
So think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So Christians say, well, he came to fulfill the law, right? But they dealing with old English here. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, I come to fulfill what was written about me. Now go to Luke chapter 24 and 44, and let's see. He's saying, I come to accomplish the purpose of their writings. And we're going to get some examples of what he came to fulfill.
This is Luke chapter 24, verse 44.
And this is out of Yahushua mouth himself. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me.
You see that? He said, these are the things that's written in the law, the Psalms, and the prophets concerning me. Now let's get a couple of things that was written in the law, the Psalms, and the prophets concerning him. The first one we're going to get is Deuteronomy 18 and 18. You always want to make sure you go back to Deuteronomy 18 and 18, because this is Yahushua speaking. This is Yahushua that Moses is writing about, Salakia. Deuteronomy 18 and 18.
You say 18, 18.
Yes, sir.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command them.
And it makes the most sense why Yahushua HaMashiach would say, I came not to do my own will, but him that sent me. He would say that so much, and it's because he's getting this from here. He already understood the mission, and he's making it clear for us that's in these times. And it makes so much sense from Deuteronomy 18 and 18, and for Yahushua to keep saying that, it's like, oh, he's talking about Deuteronomy 18 and 18. And so everything Yahushua spoke and he told us to do, and he spoke, concerning faith and all that, Yahweh was already trying to show us that in the Old Testament, right? But we didn't get it. So guess what? He sent Yahushua down to not only be a sacrifice, but to show us how to have faith, right? That's why when he healed people, he says, your faith has made you whole. He was trying to establish faith in them all the way in the Old Testament. But, Jake, they visionaries. They got to see it to believe it. Right. So woe unto the ones that still don't believe, even in these times, man. That's just what it is. So he says he's going to raise up a prophet from among our brothers. Let's go to Acts chapter 3 and verse 20, because our forefathers believed that this Deuteronomy 18 and 18 was talking about Yahushua HaMashiach.
This is Acts chapter 3, verse 20. And he shall send Yahushua HaMashiach, which before was preached unto you, whom the heaven must receive unto the times of restitution of all things, which Yahweh has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. We're gonna read from 20 to 22.
Okay, come.
Yes, sir.
For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet
Oh, so
shall be
like,
destroyed.
start at 20 one more time. That's my fault.
Oh, you're right, brother. And he shall send, it's like, and he shall send Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, which before was preached unto you.
You see that? So the context is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, which was, it says, which before was preached unto you by who? The law in Moses, the Psalms, and in the prophets. And we're going to get precepts on each category of those, on each section. But continue.
Whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things which Yahweh has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began.
You see that? Since the world began, Yahweh Shah was spoken about. Yahweh Shah, that's why Yahweh Shah told the Pharisees, they was like, bro, you ain't even 50 years old, bro, and you talking about you seen Abraham. But then when you go read in Genesis, who was those three angels? Who was the one that stayed with Abraham? And who is the two angels that left with to go see what was going on with Lot? Yahweh Shah is the one who stayed there. That's why Abraham was addressing him the way he was, because he knew that that was Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Right? But let's continue.
For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, Slakin. Him shall ye hear in all things, whatsoever he shall say unto you.
So this is going back to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and 18. Our forefathers understood that it was Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. They understood that. And that's why we have the same understanding. We believe Deuteronomy 18 and 18 was talking about Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, the anointed, right? So from there, let's go back to Deuteronomy 18 because we didn't read verse 19. So he said in Deuteronomy 18 and 18, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Right now, let's read 19.
Was it 18, correct?
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 18 and 19.
Okay. Deuteronomy 18 and 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
So all of the brothers and sisters that's not following after Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who said he is the way, the truth, and the life, the Yahweh said, I'm going to require it from you, meaning I'm going to judge you for not listening to my son.
God.
Very scary, because, I was reading John, and I'm just put this in the lesson. I was reading John, and when you read John 14 and 26, right, it says, John 14 and 26, it says, Salakia. 21. He that have my commandments and keepeth them, he is that loveth me, and he that loveth me shall Salakia. He that have my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself unto him. That is very important. You keeping the commands of Yahweh Shah, what he commanded you to do. And one very important key is going out to the highways and byways. Now, a lot of people, they get onto us, they be like, they camp haters. You actually got a YouTube page right now, and this nigga name is Camp Killer. And his job is to expose all camps. But here it is. This is the ministry. This is the ministry of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. This is part of following him, walking in his footsteps. But you got people that's going against that, which means what? These are the ones that Yahweh's going to require it from. Because Yahweh Shah Mashiach was in a camp. He had 12 members. It grew from there, but he had 12 members, man. But Yahweh says, if you don't listen to his words, he's going to require it from you. And Yahweh Shah is saying in John 14 and 21, if you love me, you're going to keep my commands. You're going to listen to me when I got to tell you. And he tell you in John 21, the last chapter before it ended, he said to Peter 3 times, if you love me, feed my sheep. And that's what it's about, man. That's how you get to the Father, by doing those kind of things, man. So teaching is very important. Building up in a spirit, getting ready to teach is a very important thing. Very important. So now let's go back. I don't want to harp on that too long. Let's go back to Matthew, because I want to read it one more time, and then I want to get another precept, because he said, Not Matthew, Luke. Luke 20, 24 and 44. Salaki. Luke 24, 44.
This is Luke chapter 24, verse 44. And he said unto them, These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me.
Right? So going back to that, now I want to show you, he said in the law, which we got one in what Moses said. Now he said in the what? In the Psalms. So let's go to Psalms 22 and 18.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 22, verse 18. They part my garments among them, and cast lots upon my vesture. But be not thou far from me, O Lord, O my strength. Haste thee to help me. Deliver. Okay.
Where was we at?
Psalms 22 and 18 and 19.
Let me see. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, 22 and 16.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 22, verse 16. For dogs have compassed me. They like this, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet.
So this is what Yahweh Shah HaMashiach meant when he said he come in the volume of the book. He's speaking through the spirit of David, right, in this psalm, because you got to ask yourself, when have David got his hands and his feet pierced, or any of his servants? None of them have. So this is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach coming to fulfill what's being written right here. But he says, for dogs have compassed me, and we call the heathen dogs. That's why Yahweh Shah called that one woman a dog. It's not meat to take the children's bread and give it to dogs. So it's rightfully so that we call them dogs, but I don't want to harp on that part either. I want to harp on, he says, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me, which is, that's talking about the Romans, and that's talking about, the Israelites. He said, pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones, they look and stare upon me, right? They part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. And I'm not going to get the precept, but that's in Matthew 27. And it's also in Luke chapter 23, where that actually happened. That prophecy, and you can go read it, man. So it's and that's just one in Psalms. There's plenty more in Psalms. There's a lot of them in Psalms. Now let's get another one in the prophets. Let's go to Micah chapter 5 and verse 2. And you got to understand too, even some of these prophecies in the Old Testament, Yahweh Shah had to come back and fulfill on his second coming. And that's some of the things that the disciples didn't understand. That's why they asked him, and he had to break down to them in Matthew 24. They was like, when are you coming back to restore the kingdom of heaven? Or Acts chapter 1, that's when they said that, but Matthew 24 is when he broke it down to them. So Micah chapter 5 and verse 2.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 5, verse 2.
Or you can, Isaiah chapter 53. That whole chapter is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach on what he came to fulfill. That whole chapter, that is a known chapter that even Christianity understand, that the prophet wrote about Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Go ahead, though.
Micah chapter 5, verse 2.
Yes, sir. Let's start at 1.
1. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. It's like he have laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek.
And then you can go read about that in the same chapters I just quoted, Matthew 27, Luke 23, or I think it's Mark 15 also. You can read about that, how they was spitting on him, and after Pontius Pilate flagged them with those in the scriptures, it said that they had a whip with metal tips on it, and they was whipping them with it. And it said they put the crown of thorns on their head, they put a robe on them, but they said that they was punching them and they was spitting on them. And they were saying, "Hail, King of the Jews," making mockery of him. And this is what he came to fulfill, this right here. And this is like for Old Testament only, it's so crazy how they can't explain these scriptures, but they'll say, "Well, I know it ain't Jesus Christ. I know it ain't JC. I know it ain't who you call Yahweh Shah." But they can't explain to you who it is. They'll say like King Hezekiah. They'll say like one of the kings that it didn't happen to. They'll say Ezekiel or somebody like that. But then you go read, they scared. It's like they scared. It's like they was destined to be, you know what I'm saying? It was like they was one of those ancient Pharisees that was going against, that was opposing Yahweh Shah. That's what it seems like, man. Because everything comes back in full circle. It's, it's a big cycle. Right? But let's read verse 2 now.
Verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem,
Ephrata,
Slakin, though thou be little among the 1,000 of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be a ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting.
And that's why it says, "Unto thee is a ruler in Israel." What scripture is that? You can easily read that in Matthew chapter 2. And I'm going to get that right quick. So Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6, it says, "And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel." Now, a lot of people be like, coincidence. But here, how do you link up? Everybody believes in the Old Testament only. So they would be able to find all kind of blots and scratches and all kind of errors in this, but they can't. They can't find nothing. They can't find, bro. I'm talking about, I didn't talk to some Old Testament onlys, and they don't got no answers. Don't be afraid of Old Testament onlys. Them niggas don't got the answers. I'm telling you. Because I understand, because that's when I first came into the truth. That's one thing I was, I was kind of hesitating on, like battling as Old Testament onlys. I was, hesitating on it because a lot of them niggas, you would think they know what they talking about, but they really don't, bro. They really don't. You just got to get built up for sure. But, bro, they don't got no answers, bro. I'm telling you. Only thing you got to do is just use the same scriptures and really make them, because what they'll do is they'll try to get around it. But if you hold them to the scripture, like make them break down Micah 5 and 1 and 2, they're going to be like, "Well, I know it ain't Jesus Christ." You be like, "Okay, so cool. Who is it?" And then they're going to be like, "Well, it was Hezekiah." Okay, now show me how this is Hezekiah. And you hold them to it. But I don't want to harp on that. This is about Yahweh Shah Mashiach, right? So we just brought that out. Now let's go. We went to Deuteronomy 18 and 18. We went to Psalm 22 and 16 through 18. And we just went to Micah 5 and 2. So this is summing up Luke 24 and 44, where he says, "I come to fulfill the things that was written about me." So now let's go back to Matthew 5 and 17.
Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
So we have our stance when it comes to what he mean in this verse right here. He's talking about he's come to fulfill what was written of him. Christianity, they'll say he come to fulfill the law. But then when you read the next verse, we have a problem. So let's read the next verse.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
So now we have a problem, because I will go back as far as, let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 49 and 19, right? He says, one jot or one tittle shall not pass from the law until all be fulfilled. Everything be fulfilled. All the prophecies is what he's talking about. Whether it's concerning him or restoring the kingdom of heaven, or, the heathen going into subjection under us, whatever it is, man. So when you read Genesis 49 and 19, it says, Gad, a troop, and a troop is an army, the cavalry. A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So you got to explain, when did this troop come? I mean, when did Gad come and overcome at the last? You got to answer questions like that. You have to answer those questions. You want to say something, King?
No, I'm trying to keep from knocking over my phone.
Yeah, you got to answer. You got to answer that. And that's just one. Let's not go to Isaiah or Isaiah 66, where it talks about him coming back, or right. Isaiah 63, where it says that his garment is going to be, it's going to look like it's dipped in blood.
Right. He said, I traded in a wine press alone.
Exactly. When did that happen, though?
Not yet.
It didn't happen yet. Right. And even his disciples didn't understand some of it. That's why they was thinking that he was coming back to restore the kingdom then. Right. But we have the full understanding here in 2024 AD, man. We got the understanding. I'm not saying we better than the prophets, because of course they was better than us. We just have a better understanding. Right. Being that all of these things have happened. Like, they only had the Old Testament. We got the Old and the New Testament.
Right.
Right. So he says, verily, going back to Matthew 5 and 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled. There's so much stuff in the Old Testament that hasn't been fulfilled yet, man. Right. So let's go to Acts 1 and 6 right quick. Matter of fact, you ain't got to go to Acts 1 and 6. Let's go to Jeremiah 31 and 31, because you have to think, even then he says one jot and one tittle shall no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Now, when everything is fulfilled, guess what comes after that? Huh? What comes after everything is fulfilled?
It's time to work on the kingdom.
Well, the kingdom is, if everything is fulfilled, that means the mark of the beast came through. The great tribulation, everything. It's the kingdom. So that means new bodies, and the laws are in our inward parts. So right. Even then the laws are not going to be done away with. Even at that point, the laws are not going to be done away with. They're going to be emphatically on our hearts, which is our mind. Go back to Lob. Right? So Jeremiah 31 and 31. Matter of fact, Salaki, read Baruch 4 and 1.
He said what?
Baruch 4 and 1.
Baruch.
And I'm going to read it again while you're getting it. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. And like I said, even then, the laws are not done away with. They're going to be on your heart. This is the kind of stuff we got to start holding Christians to. We got to start holding them to this. Go ahead.
This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Right. So people say Christianity, of course, the daughter of the Roman Catholic Church, they say that the law is done away with. They say the Old Testament is done away with. When they say the Old Testament is done away with, I challenge you to say, well, why is women still on a period? Why do women still have birth pains? And we're talking about going back to Adam and Eve. Why is these things still happening if the Old Testament is done away with? Why are they still emotional the way they are? Why do we still got to work from the sweat of our brow? Why is the serpent still messing with us? They got to answer this. But they're not going to be able to. This is where the part comes in where they say, well, I'm not here to argue. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to debate.
Going around the question.
Yeah, but this is where it says be, wise as a serpent. You'd be like, no, I'm not trying to argue or nothing. I just want, to see if you got the understanding on this. It wouldn't be wise to yell at them about it. Like, see, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It wouldn't be wise to do that. And I'm saying that because that's what I used to do. I'd be like, man, get the hell out of here then. All right. Let me see. We already know about, we ain't even got to get Jeremiah 31 or Hebrews 8, where it talks about the laws are going to be on our inward parts after everything is fulfilled. At the end of everything, we're going to go up in the sky from Babylon and get new bodies. We're going to get taken to the wilderness, and then we're going to have the laws on our inward parts, right? Pass under the rod of the Most High God, meaning his judgment.
Okay.
So let's go back to Matthew.
Did you still want Jeremiah 31 and 31?
Nah, you good.
Okay.
I just quoted it. So let's read 19 again. Matthew 5 and 19 again.
This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Hey, so understand that. You teaching men Old Testament. I know Old Testament onlys that tell you we can't keep the law. That don't make no sense
at all.
How do you even debate somebody that's Old Testament only? How do you debate them? How? It's just like, bro, the world has been stung with this. The Old Testament and the laws are done away with, man, or we don't have to keep them. And that's how you know Satan been on this earth ruling for quite a while, man, because the whole earth believe this now. Bro, you'll go to Japan and they'll tell you the same thing. In Japan, they're talking about Jesus Christos or Jesus Christ telling you that the laws are done away with. Sounding straight Christianity, man. Christianity been ruling for a long time, man.
Long time.
It says in 2 Ezra 5 that at the end, truth would flourish. The truth is gonna flourish, man, and it's only gonna get in the minds of people who's decent enough that the Most High God chose, to wake up in the last days. If you don't get this truth in these times, sorry but not sorry, the Most High does not love you. That's a fact. It tells you that in Ephesians chapter 2. Read Ephesians chapter 2, 1 through 7, and it tells you the ones he gave the truth is the ones he loved. If you fall out the truth, the Most High don't love you no more because you're doing something you ain't got no business doing. Right? So it says, whoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. And you can teach men to do so simply by teaching and your actions. Understand that.
Was you just quoting?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Was you just quoting 5 and 2, or did you want me to get it?
You can get it.
Okay. This is Ephesians 5 and 2. And walk in love, as a Mashiach also have loved us.
Ephesians 2 and 1.
2 and 1.
Oh, did you want to make a point on that? Okay.
Well, let me see. And walk in love, as a Mashiach also hath loved us, and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Yahweh for a sweet smelling savor. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Just like he said, through the Most High, he said that if you get the truth now, that means he loves you. So why not walk in the love of Mashiach, just to show that appreciation and that love to him, because he offered his son unto you, which he didn't have to do. He could have, he could have killed us off and started all over again. But instead, he chose us and chose this generation to show us and let us be led by his understanding. So why not?
Why not, man? Man, if you see the way that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach got did, man, before he went on that cross, man. And when he got on that cross, man, that should break everybody down and be like, man, whatever I got to do, I'm going to try my best to do it. And live by and not get a damn tattoo on you that say Philippians 4 and 13, but actually live by it.
Right.
I see a lot of people, they got Philippians 4 and 13 tatted on them, trying to honor God with sin. You can't honor God with sin, man. You just can't. So Ephesians 2:1.
Ephesians 2
You
and
want to
1.
make another point?
I'm trying to remember what you said to go off of what you just said. Ephesians 2 and 1. And you, it's like, and you have been, it's like, have quickened who were dead in trespass and sins, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of obedience.
Disobedience.
Disobedience, like
So that was us. We was walking according to the course of this world, and we was by nature the children of wrath. We was gonna get smoked, man. But all praises to the Most High God that He allow us to come into the truth and grow, because that's what you commanded to do: grow in grace. Go ahead.
Now I remember what you said when you said if we had seen the way Hamashiach was done. It's no feeling like seeing something instead of thinking it. When you see it, it's a totally different feeling because you can't explain what you've seen. I mean, you can explain it, but it won't be as gruesome or as powerful as you've seen it with your own eyes.
Straight up. And like, bro, believe it or not, people can say what they want, but our faith is strong. I'm standing for all brothers that's sincere in the truth. Bro, we see Yahweh Shah every single day. Now, ask me how we see Yahweh Shah every day.
I can take a guess. Just knowing the way our brothers, you know what I'm saying, are being done. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Doing, like, say for instance, how they getting killed, even though they don't have the truth, but it was destined for the Lord to make an example of some people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it hurts. But at the same time, we got to have an example.
So that, and I was going to say, we see Yahweh Shah each and every day simply by the way that we get treated by following him. He had to be real. And he told us, he was like, hey, bro, you're not, he said, I call you no more a servant, but a friend. And he explained to us how, bro, you're going to go through the same thing I'm going, but understand that the world hated me before it hated you.
Right.
Bro, he explained it to us that we was going to go through the same thing. So we see Yahweh Shah every day, man. When you getting persecuted for righteousness' sake, when people calling you a Muslim, you know, when people saying not you know, people say, my uncle told me, he was like, nigga, you a demon. All because I said we got to keep the laws of God. And guess what they said to Yahweh Shah? Let's get it right quick. Let me get it right quick. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. They did the same thing to Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the Pharisees.
Can I grab a precept?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is this is 2 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 4 through I'm gonna say 6. Who comfort us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of Yahweh. For as the suffering of Hamashiach abound in us, so our consolation also abound by Hamashiach. And whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same sufferings, which we also suffered, or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. And our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that as ye are partakers of the suffering, so shall ye be also of the consolation. Saying that, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fire precept.
Like we've been saying, through the scriptures, through the Most High God, that He come in the volume of the book. He's the comforter. He is the Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? There's no Trinity. There's none of that. He said, I provide you a comforter, which is Hamashiach. We, you know what I'm saying, through the comforting of knowing that He got afflicted for our sins to be, you know what I'm saying, come back onto the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? That's why we get, you know what I'm saying, afflicted, you know what I'm saying, called different things that we're not. We get so angry that they call us Muslims, because it's like we worked so hard to finally get this back. You know what I'm saying? Though he gave it to us without any effort, you know what I'm saying? Because Most High God, he's effortless. He don't need to really work by the sweat of his brow. He's the most powerful being, you know what I'm saying? The how you say what do they call them? I forgot their word.
El Shaddai, they got the Most High, Almighty, Yahweh.
God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even know how to expound on the Most High God. That's how you know we love him so much, because we can't even explain him. We just got that hope that Christ came, that he's there. You know what I'm saying? That's our loving hope, that we do get saved. You know what I'm saying? And that he gave us that comforter and afflict us through everything. So Most High willing that whoever is here watching or understanding, that they, you know what I'm saying, are loved and feel love. So calm.
Hey, and like you said, man, that they can't picture us actually following Yahweh Shah Mashiach, so it has to be something else to them. Just like the Pharisees couldn't picture Yahweh Shah actually being that deity that sat on the right hand of Yahweh. When you read that and go to Hebrews chapter 1 and 3, this is something we believe, right? A lot of people, they bring up Jesus Christ to get out of situations, or, you know, to sound a certain way, or it's the fashion or topic, whatever the case, but they really don't believe, because Yahweh Shah just said, we read it in John 14 and 21. If you keep my commands, then you love me and you love the one that sent me. And it's simple, man. Yahweh Shah, you know how many parables is going over where he you know, reiterated, and it was just the ministry, man. That's what he wanted us to do, the ministry, fulfill. Go ahead.
Hebrews 1 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, and sat down on the right hand of the majesty of on high.
Yep. See that? After he came down here and purged our sin, he went right back to the Father and sat on the right hand of the Most High. And guess what? Those Pharisees, they couldn't register that. They just couldn't, because they like, bro, that's what they were saying. They was like, bro, you're from Mary and Joseph. What are you talking about? Is this not the carpenter's son? They didn't understand how spirit, like how we understand now. They don't understand. They didn't understand that, and they still don't today. We understand though. He came down here in the flesh, meaning he had emotions. He just didn't react to those emotions like what we do on a daily basis.
God.
That's why he was without sin, because he didn't react to the emotions like we do. That's what makes him who he is. God. The perfect lamb without spot and blemish, man. Why wouldn't you want to follow him? Come on, man. All right, so I wanted to get this precept because I wanted to show something. We were talking about how they call Yahweh Shah Mashiach a devil, just like they call us devils today. Like I said, my uncle, you know, I was excited when I hit up my uncle and told him, you know, about this truth. And he was like, nigga, you a demon. That's what he told me. Bro, I didn't say nothing about the white man going into slavery. I didn't say none of that. I was just showing him the word, and he was like, nigga, you a damn demon. And this is what they did to Yahweh Shah. So this is John chapter 8 and 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh the lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Which of you convince me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do ye not believe me? He that is of God heareth. What's up? You want to touch on it? It says, he that is of God heareth God's words. Remember, this is going back to Deuteronomy 18 and 18. If you of God, then you will know that these words, if you really have a relationship from God, then you would know that these are the words of God. That's just how that goes. You know, you want to imagine being in a relationship with your wife for 5 years, but here it is, you don't know when she's really speaking from the heart, or you don't know if she's playing around or not. That don't make sense. So if you claim to have a relationship with God, then you should know that he sent me. You should know by what I'm telling you, what I'm instructing you, and the miracles that I'm performing. But guess what? He healed on the Sabbath. They was trying to kill him. They literally say that like they was plotting his death. Right? And then they gave reason why. They said, because if everybody believe on him, the Romans is going to come take everything we got.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. So it says, he that is of God heareth God's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. And he was talking about what he was explaining and doing. Deuteronomy 18:18. So that's not the point, though. The point is this. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, say we not well that thou art a Samaritan and hast a devil? You see that? They called him a devil. They called Yahushua a devil just because he said, if you believe in God, you would listen to me. You will hear what I got to say, and you will follow me. And then he said, which one of you convinced me of sin? Bro, that right there should have been a deal breaker. It should have cut up everybody, and they should have been like, you know what? Dang, you haven't sinned. Because they didn't do that to the woman, the woman caught adultery. So it was, and I'm bringing out that because there was people out there, actually sinning, man, to the extreme, getting caught in the very act of adultery, all the way down to the minor sins. And Yahushua like, bro, what sin have you seen me do? You ain't seen me sin at all. Right? But it says, Yahushua answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and ye do dishonor me. It says, and I seek not mine own glory, there is one that seeketh and judges. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my sayings, he shall never see death. Then said the Jews unto him, now we know that thou hast a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my sayings, he shall never taste of death. You see that? They called him a devil twice. So I'm just going this to show, bro, they call you a devil. Yahushua already said, bro, they hated me before they hated you.
Right.
And hatred always starts in the mind first, saying evil things to you. You can tell when somebody hates somebody because they'll say nasty words to you. That's a big form of hatred. That's when Yahushua says, and we're going to get into, that's my next I am the way teaching of Yahushua says that, about murder and how you commit murder in your heart. That's a real thing. The nasty things you say to certain people, that's a form of hatred. That's why he said, don't even say rakah to them, or don't call them a fool, because that is a sign of hatred. And hatred goes back to murder, Cain and Abel. It all starts with the mind first, man. The same way with adultery, right? Now let's go back to Matthew 5 so we won't get lost in these scriptures. Matthew chapter 5, and I believe we was at 19 still.
Okay. Matthew chapter 5, verse 19.
Yeah, 5 and 19, Salaki.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
And that's why we tell people to keep the laws of God.
That's right.
Bro, everybody got, believe it or not, everybody has different laws that they have to keep. Like, you have agricultural laws. Some brothers that's in the truth, they got their own land. You got agricultural laws that you got to keep. When it talks about putting different, mixing different hybrid seeds together and all that, that you got laws that apply to that. It don't apply to me because I don't got my own land.
Right.
But fringes and certain things, bro, that's for everybody. If you teaching men not to wear fringes, if you teaching men that they can break the laws in any aspect, then you're going to be the least in the kingdom. But if you teaching men to do as many laws as possible, like a brother will come to, to camp, and he'd be like, yeah, so look, through the spirit, he'll explain how he got his own land. Guess what? We're going to the law where it tells you, you can't do this according to the law, right? We teaching men to do so because we want to be called great in the kingdom. Everybody ain't going to be 144, but you got to understand there's going to be kings and princes and great people under that 144. So I want to be great in the kingdom. I don't got to be the 144. I'll be a king or a prince. That's my desire, at least. Right? But even Yahushua said that John is one of the greatest men that ever came, which was Elijah. And he said that the least in the kingdom is going to be greater than him. So regardless, if you teaching men to be great, to keep the laws, you're gonna be great in the kingdom, man. You're gonna be great in the kingdom. So last verse, let's read verse 20.
Verse 20.
Because this is really hitting right here. Give me 1 second though.
Okay.
You can read it and touch on it if you want.
Okay. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. How can I explain this? Shall exceed the righteousness. So basically, it's saying that being righteous is one of the most greatest things to do in this truth.
Yes, sir, it is.
You know what I'm saying? Even though the scribes were being over righteous, there's still nothing wrong with being a little over righteous, because being a little over righteous can save you in some aspects. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want to punish like how the scribes and Pharisees was doing to Yahushua. They was trying to punish him in the evil way by using the scriptures and using their righteousness, and that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're not supposed to use your righteousness to try to hurt somebody. That's a form of trying to kill your brother as well.
Hey, and you're right. And the thing is, while they was doing that, they wasn't keeping the law. And Yahushua, he explained that. Y'all telling people to keep the law, but y'all don't keep the law.
Right.
Y'all accept briberies and y'all let people get off in court, but here it is, y'all trying to kill me.
And that's a telltale sign right there that somebody's not keeping the law if they trying to. Well, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not, because sometimes some brothers just trying to save your life. But
yeah, that's not even saying not keeping the law. It just shows you ain't reading the Gospels, because where's this mercy at? Where this forgiveness at that you're supposed to be learning and growing in? Here it is, Yahushua Mashiach. Let's read it. Let's go to John chapter 8 right quick. Let's go to John chapter 8, and I'm gonna go to John chapter 5. Because like I said, I've been reading the Gospels, and I actually been reading the book of John. I'm in Luke right now. I just got done with John, and it's a lot, learn in there. So we're gonna go to John chapter 8, and we're gonna start at verse 1. This is the faith and mercy that Yahushua came to demonstrate.
This is John chapter 8, verse 1. Yahushua went onto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them.
So he taught what we about to read. He taught this before everybody, and guess what? It wasn't a speech, so to speak, in this situation. This goes back to Matthew chapter 5 and 17 or 19. You teach men to do so, you shall be called the least, or you shall be called the greatest. However you want to do. But this is a situation where he taught through action, right? Go ahead.
And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act.
So one thing we have to speculate, and we have to, if we want to be wise judges, we got to be like, what would be the first thing you say after reading this right here, if you was a judge? You ain't got to get too deep. Just like after these scribes brought this woman, and they said she was caught in the very act of adultery. What would be the first thing to come to mind for you?
Okay, they're the witnesses. So, I mean, do they have the pure evidence, which the person that took them in adultery, took her into adultery?
Okay, explain that a little bit more.
Like the man that she did it with.
Exactly. It's like, hold on, where the man at though?
Right. Because you can't just accuse somebody and not have evidence.
Well, but they saying they caught her in the very act. But the point is, they didn't care that she was committing adultery. They just wanted to prove a point. They was trying to catch up Yahushua, which mean, like I said, the Pharisees didn't care. They didn't care. Like, how do you not care about somebody committing adultery? I wish I can judge somebody that was committing adultery. I wish I can judge them straight up, because that's the will of the Most High God. But that's you answered it correctly. Where is the man? If you a judge, you can be like, hold on, where the man at?
Right.
And Yahweh Shah already knew this though. He like, bro, come on, y'all trying to play me. Right? So it says she was caught in the very act, and let's read it. Let's start at verse 4. Verse 5.
Verse 5. Now Moses in the law commanded it. It's like commanded to us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not.
You see that? He ignored them. Like, bro, y'all niggas playing. Y'all playing right now. Especially him knowing their thoughts. Like, right. Yeah, I know you right there. You the ringleader of this. Right here. You. But he ain't paying them no mind. Right? But keep going.
This they said. It's like, so when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself. He lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her.
So he lifted up and was like, all right, cool. He that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. Throw the rock. Now, a lot of Old Testament only there say, see, he going against the law. But here it is. He never told them not to stone her.
Right.
And then we about to read how he didn't even know when he stood like, bro, nobody condemned you. Nobody stoned you, because he wasn't going against it. He was just, making sure they understand, like, bro, hold on. You a sinner too.
Right.
Right. But let's keep going, because that's not the point I want to get. This is the point I wanted to get.
And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience.
They all knew. Some of them niggas knew that they took briberies. Some of them niggas knew they committed adultery. Some of them niggas know that they was doing things against the law, statute, commandments. That's why I said they was convicted in their own mind, their own conscience. They probably was like, damn, like this dude smart. Man, he's too smart. And they left. Let's keep going though.
Went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Have no man condemned thee?
Right. Nobody stoned you?
Right.
Nobody stoned you, huh? Well, it looks like they in sin too then. Because that's all I said was he that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. And nobody threw a rock. Out of all of those niggas that were standing there, nobody threw a rock. Go ahead.
She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
Come on now. This is an extreme sin. I believe that's exactly why this was written. Because of how extreme it is. Adultery ain't nothing to play around with. This is a capital sin. This is a capital sin. And Yahushua said, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. You got me, stop sinning. But it explains us in Hebrews 10 and 26 about willfully sinning. We don't even got to go over that. It talks about that already. He said, go and stop sinning, man. She got spared, and we all got spared. So we all have to remember that, man. That's another one in John chapter 5 I want to get real quick. So John chapter 5, and the same chapter we read on, or Salakia. I'm thinking of Matthew 5. Let's go to John chapter 5, and I think it's like 14. Let me see. Let's start at 13.
John chapter 5, verse 13. And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Yahushua had conveyed himself away. A multitude being in that place, afterward Yahushua findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee.
You see this? He would always tell them to stop sinning, meaning, man, the Jews was out there sinning. And he was trying to help them stop sinning. But here it is, they're trying to kill him over that. He's healing them and saying, according to your faith, have you been healed? Stop sinning now. And they was trying to kill him over that. But guess what? The persecution of the church is about to make a full circle, and it's going to happen again. That's all we telling people to do, is to stop sinning. This proves that we are disciples of Yahushua HaMashiach. This proves it. Because they're doing the same thing they did to him, to us. We are friends of Yahushua, he said. And this proves it. And this goes back to full circle my point. We see Yahushua HaMashiach every day.
God.
Every single day we see. Right? You can tell a woman, like, man, that's adultery right there. And bro, you will have 4 niggas over there that's behind her. They're on a whole different assembly line. And they coming over here, no, bro, you can't be saying that, bro. You can't be saying that she adultery just because she, man, no, man, hell no, man. You can't be, you into it with the whole floor just because you said you can't do that. That's adultery. Look, you know I'm telling the truth. Look at you. I'm telling the truth, brother. That's why it's best, man, not to even bring up, like, when you at work, man, just work, man. Just work and go on. There's a time and place for everything.
Man.
Straight up. You got a example, brother?
Just saying, don't even put yourself in that situation. Just move along. Sometimes it's, especially when it's in your spirit, to react to that, because you based on reacting mostly. And so as soon as you get used to it, you know what I'm saying, cutting down certain sins, and it come to your head, and you're like, let me not. I gotta make money. I gotta feed family. I could lose my job today just from trying to be righteous.
And we're not scared of that. It's just It's a time and place for everything.
Right.
It's a time and place for everything. Now, I will say this: if they just drilling you about the Bible, bro, I'm about to bring out a couple precepts.
Right.
That's
when
they keep asking me about you know what I'm saying? They keep asking me about my fringes. I'm gonna show you.
Right.
But my job is not to go to work just to be, acting like I'm on the highways and byways, man.
Right.
All right, so I want to read Matthew 5:20 one more time.
This is Matthew 5, verse 20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So you got to ask yourself, this is very important, because, the Pharisees, they taught the law, but they didn't do it. They didn't have no faith at all. They even made mention about being Moses and Abraham's disciples.
It's showing that you speak it.
Huh? You can hear me? What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear him on my end. So I'm willing that the situation get fixed. That's how I will.
All right, what about now?
Mm-hmm. Showing that you speaking.
You still can't hear me?
There we go. Now
I think it's delaying. Man,
okay.
I ain't lying, man. Oklahoma's like internet technology has been going crazy for the last couple weeks. Like, my phone just like that everywhere I go. Yeah, so it's the Lamb for sure. But what was my point? Yeah, my point was the Pharisees. It's very important to understand this scripture right here. You could actually do a lesson just off verse 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. So let's see what he mean when he says righteousness, right? So let's
Mhm.
go to the Deuteronomy 6 and 25, and then I want to get Romans chapter 4 and 13. So we know righteousness goes back to the law, statutes, commandments, but that's not the only thing.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us.
So now that we got what righteousness is, he talking about, it's like, bro, how are we gonna be better how are we gonna be doctors of the law better than these dudes when this is all they did? They was in their homeland while they was doing it. So how will we apply this scripture now? Even in captivity under the same Romans, we can be better than the wicked scribes and Pharisees. How? Because they was hypocrites first. That's one thing Yahweh Shah hates and you should not be, man, is a hypocrite.
Right.
Do not be a hypocrite, man. And if you're not afraid of being a hypocrite, read Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2 always scares me, man. It's scary. It's a scary chapter to read, man. Like, I don't know if you know, just a footnote, a side note, over there, those small hats, those Jewish rats over there, it's forbidden for their children to read the book of Ezekiel. It's forbidden. They are not allowed to. They'll get punished if they read the book of Ezekiel. Why? Because it talks about children dying in the book of Ezekiel. And they don't want us. And why wouldn't you want the fear of the Lord on your children?
Exactly.
I'll teach my children that. But it's forbidden for children to read the book of Ezekiel over there in the land. Weird, right?
Right.
Right. But going back to the point, Deuteronomy 6 and 25, the righteousness goes back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. So we're sitting there puzzled and be like, bro, how can we be better than these people? They had the scrolls originally. They had the original scrolls. They knew what to go to learn. They knew what not to learn. They knew all this. We in Babylon with all this confusion, a whole bunch of mixed doctrines and all of this. So we ask ourselves, like, how is that possible? Right. But when you go to Romans 4 and 13, let's go to Romans 4 and 13 right quick. He says, except your righteousness shall exceed. Let me get the word exceed too while we're here. Let's get the word exceed and see what it means. Go ahead, Doc.
Romans 4 and 13. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not,
Hey,
not, huh?
matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm gonna read exceed first so we can get this out the way. So
Okay.
it says, this is etymology.com, of course, etymy online, and it says exceed. It goes back to the late 1400s, exceeding, and it says to go beyond. So we have to go beyond or surpass the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. That sounds impossible, right? But this is how we be better than them. Read that.
Romans 4 and 13. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith.
You see that? It says through the righteousness of faith. So when we talk about righteousness, you can't just say it's the law. Your righteousness goes back to faith also. And that's just why. And this is why you guys know in the gospels, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach could say, your faith made you whole. Your faith. When he healed somebody, he would always explain, your faith did this. You believing in me did this. That's why he walked up to it was the blind man or the man that was on his bed. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just get it right quick. Let me get this right quick. So let's go to Matthew chapter 9 and 28 right quick.
This is Matthew chapter 9, verse 28. And when he was come unto the house, the blind men came to him. And Yahushua saith unto them, Believe ye that I am able to do this? They said unto him, Yea, Lord. Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to your faith, be it unto you.
You see that? He said, first he said, do you believe that I can really heal you? And they was like, yeah, we believe that. He was like, all right, cool. According to your belief, your faith. Faith goes back to belief.
Huh.
So he says, according to your faith, shall it be done for you. That's what it's about. That's what he was establishing. Now, it's nothing new because he was establishing this in the Old Testament. Our people just didn't get it. Right? When you read Deuteronomy 8 and 4, he says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. He was establishing faith then. They had to believe that. When he told Abraham to go to the land of Canaan, this is a land flowing with milk and honey, and I'm going to give it to your descendants. Abraham had to believe that. A Sarah being 90-some years old and being barren of children, because, I mean, even today, imagine, let's not even say imagine. Today, you would tell a woman, in the scriptures, that's barren, she 90 years old, you'd be like, you can still have a baby. And she'd be like, boy, I'm dried all the way up. Ain't no baby coming between these legs. She ain't got no faith, so it's not going to happen.
Right.
Because she don't got faith. It's simple. That's what he was trying to establish. It's according to your faith. All right, so let's go back to read the Romans 4 and 13 one more time. Because we touching on Matthew 5 and 20, where he says, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed. And we just went to the word exceed. It means go beyond or surpass the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 13. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. Okay?
So the righteousness of faith. You have the righteousness of the law and you have the righteousness of faith. But this ain't even the initial scripture I wanted to get to touch on verse 20. So the initial scripture we get for verse 20 is Matthew 23 and 23. This brings it all home when he talks about your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Matthew 23 and 23.
This is Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay the tithe of mint and anise and cumin. And
right. So he said, yeah, you tithing, you keeping the law, because that's what tithing is a part of the law. And this is for Christianity churches that say the law is done away with, but here it is, the tithing is in the law. Where else do you get tithing from? See, they play this little game. That's why there's no point of, man, just come out of the church, man.
Right.
All right, so let's read it again.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
So you ignore. So he said you ignore the more important aspects of the law. Like people don't even Old Testament onlys. They don't want to talk about the spiritual side of the law. They think everything is carnal. Guess who did? Guess who else did that? The Pharisees.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even believe him when he said, "Man, I seen Moses. I seen Abraham already. I was right there with him." They like, bro, you ain't even 50 years old. You talking about you seen Abraham? He said, "Before Abraham was, I am." What you talking about? All right, go ahead.
It's like of the it's like and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
So he said, yeah, you supposed to be tithing, but he says you neglecting these other laws, the spiritual side of the law, right? Which was justice, because y'all was taking robberies and y'all was letting convicted felons go. Y'all was taking bribery. Y'all didn't have no justice. Y'all didn't have good judgment, right? And then he says, mercy. Y'all wasn't showing no mercy. Like they was about to use, look, they was about to, like we just read it in John 8. They was about to stone this woman, call her an adultery, but it wasn't because she committed adultery. It's because they was trying to prove a point.
Right.
Because if Yahweh shot have been like, oh, yeah, we supposed to stone her, they would have bombed rocks on her.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, and they would have wanted Yahweh shot to throw it first, but guess what? They would have been right along with him. So they wasn't about to show no mercy, the same mercy that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach showed in that very chapter. He said, where's your accusers? He said, and she said, I don't know. She says, well, I'm not going to condemn you either. Just go ahead and go and don't do it no more. That was the mercy that he leaded with, and he's teaching us to have. And this is how we be better than the scribes and the Pharisees. So, and another one is faith. And we didn't got to touch on that. We don't got to get more precepts on that because that's what we've been talking about the whole time. That's the precepts we've been going to. John chapter 5, John chapter 14, and other precepts we was going to on, how we got to have faith. Romans 4 and 13 on how we got to have faith, man. You got to have faith. You got to believe, man. And this is how our righteousness exceed, or surpass, or go beyond the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, man. This is how. Faith, judgment, mercy. Straight up. And then you also got Paul, who Yahushua came to directly. You got Paul. And Paul tell you in 1 Corinthians 13, you can charity. Gotta have charity. Let's go to it right quick.
You said, what is it?
1 Corinthians 13. We're going to start at verse 1. It's very important that we understand and obey what Paul says. Why? Because why wouldn't you obey? Let's just say an ambassador, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. If Yahweh Shah HaMashiach sent somebody to tell you something, you're not just disobeying that ambassador, that messenger. You're disobeying Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Right. And this is the same thing we just read that Yahweh said. He says, whoever don't listen to this, who I sent, I'm going to require it from him. So he came directly to Paul and said, I'm going to send you on a mission. So we're supposed to be obeying Paul also. You don't get to choose if you want to obey Paul or not, man.
Right.
You don't get to make that decision. But niggas get prideful, man. That's a clear example. That's walking pride right there. For you to say you don't have to listen to Paul, you're crazy. Because you're ignoring or not listening to his ambassador, who he sent. And I want to get this. I want to get it in another translation. The scripture I just got, but I want to get it in another translation right quick. 1 second. Which was John 14 and 21, because I want to show something. This is John 14 and 21. He says, those who, one second. Salakia, 1 second. All right, Khan. So this is John 14 and 23, a couple verses down. Yahushua replied, all who love me will do what I say. My Father will love them, and we will come and make our home with each of them. Their spirit is going to rest on you. It says, anyone who doesn't love me will not obey me. And remember, my words are not my own. What I am telling you is from the Father who sent me. So Yahweh sent Yahushua. Yahushua went back to the heavens and sat on the right hand of Yahweh, which is Hebrews 1 and 3. And then Yahushua went and sent Paul. So you're not listening to Paul. You're not listening to Yahushua. You're not listening to Yahushua. You're not listening to Yahweh. It's that simple. And this is, now we can go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
13 and which one you want?
13. We're going to start at 1.
Like, this is first Corinthians 13 and 1. It's like, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not clarity, I am become charity. It's like charity. Yes, sir. It's like charity. I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
And that's what Jake be saying when you ain't making sense. Like, nigga, you just making a whole bunch of noise. That's what he's talking about. If you don't have charity, you just making a whole bunch of noise. That's all you doing. You ain't really making stuff clear. You don't really sound like a lovely song. You just sound like a whole bunch of noise. Like a kid playing a drum. That's what you sound like. That's what Paul is saying. So he says, though he have not charity, the word charity goes back to a Greek word, which goes back to agape. And agape means brotherly love. So loving your brother, loving your people is very critical, is very important. And Yahushua Mashiach did the same thing. He showed us how to love our brother. I'm talking about from the washing of the feet to laying his life down for his brother. That's what he said. You want to touch on it? All right, Khan. So let's keep going.
Verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy,
so you can prophesy. So you can be a beautiful prophet out there on the highways and byways, breaking the prophecies down fluently. Right? Go ahead.
And understand all mysteries, like in all knowledge. And though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing.
I am nothing. He even said, I can have all the faith to where I move mountains. But if you ain't got charity, it don't mean nothing. And guess who else said that? John the Revelator. In first John chapter 2 and 1 John chapter 4, he said that. He says, how can you love God who you have not seen if you don't love your brother who you have seen?
Right.
So charity is very important. Agape, brotherly love, is very important. Or God's love. And God, that's the whole point of 1 John chapter 4. So agape go back to God's love. The reason why I know that is because the brother that used to be in the camp, he had a clothing line and he called it agape, right? And this is like when I first came into the truth. But he called it agape, and I asked him what it meant, and he said it meant God's love. When I looked at it, it said brotherly love. I'm pretty sure it's interchangeable. I'm sure. Because when you read 1 John 4 and 20, it says, if a man say I love God and hated his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he have seen, how can he love God whom he have not seen? See that? So that makes sense why it would be an interchangeable word. Because you can't love God if you don't love your brother. Straight up. You can he said it, you can have all the faith in the world, but if you don't love your brother, you don't got charity, it don't mean nothing. You nothing. And if you read this chapter, man, it's only 13 verses. And he said you can feed the poor, you can, you can do whatever. But if you don't got charity, bro, you nothing. You don't mean nothing. Straight up. So charity is very important, man. And remember, Yahushua sent Paul. That's what matters. So that's all I got for that. I don't want to go too much longer. I just want to break down Matthew 5, 17 through 20. The next one is going to be 21 through 27, I believe it is. And it's dealing with murder. And I can't wait to get on that, man. And Aparatazar, we get edified. We get some edifying, edification. Say that. So you got anything else you want to bring up?
Just like scripture said, no charity, you don't love God. You don't love God, you ain't got no charity.
That's right. Hey, and check the staff out in the background, though. Brother, that mug is nice, boy. Praises to the Most High.
Oh,
Hey, that's one of them staffs Moses had. What? Hey, all praises to the Most High. But Connor,
all praises.
we're going to wrap it up with that, man. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Abaratazah, which is Lord willing. You got edification, even if it's just a little bit, man. Shalom wa barak.
Shalom.